For over 30 years now, SLA Industries, now in its second edition, has been in my collection. It's one of those dark, gritty, sort of futuristic, horror, kind of alien, incredible alien races game. One day I'll do a proper review on both the first and the second edition books, but it's been something that I've loved for a long time. So imagine my surprise when one of my subscribers let me know that they were doing a SLA Industries Mork Borg, MÖRK Borg. For this video, it's going to be Mork Borg. That's what I'm going to call it. So yeah, the UK Gaming Expo, I managed to pick up my copy, which I'm sure you appreciate is incredibly good front artwork. So today I'm going to take my look at this. You do not need a copy of Mork Borg to play it. You do not need to know anything about SLA Industries first or second edition because, well, reasons, as we'll get into the book. Because one thing this isn't is a Mork Borg conversion of SLA Industries, which made me a little bit sad when I got to that little bit in the page. But does it really affect me that much? Does it make me sad? The camera's on, so there's a good chance it's not going to be as bad as it first sounded to me. But as ever, I'll just show you where you can pick up the copies. There's two places in this video. We have got DriveThruRPG if you want to pick up the PDF copy, and the PDF copy will include a sort of Games Master mission sheet and a character sheet. But if you want the hardback copies here, you can go over to Nightfall Games and pick up a copy here of SLA Borg, as they pronounce it. So this will just explain why this is a little bit different. So it's an alternative perspective of the role-playing game SLA Industries as seen by a group of drunken morons who think they're an operation squad. Just go with it. We know it's odd. It's A5, as you can see from what I showed you right at the start. I said the book itself, it's easier just to show it here on DriveThruRPG. So it's 120 pages. It is A5 size. And by the original book, yeah, 1993. So say, 32 years this in some sort of way. Because if you had the first edition of SLA Industries, you'll probably remember putting loads of holes in it. Hole punching it and then putting it into a ring binder because, well, it fell apart, didn't it? But that's enough of that. Oh, if you are going to pick up a copy of the PDF, please do consider using my affiliate link. So I did buy this myself, so it just puts the money back into the channel to put it towards buying more things, and it just allows me to do more reviews. But let's get over to the book and see what's included alongside the PDF. So here we have the amazing front cover of SLA Borg, or I'm just going to call it SLA Borg because, well, I'm not very good at remembering how things are pronounced correctly, as many people comment in the comments section. Absolutely fine. I don't mind. Money, murder, mayhem. So as discussed on the Nightfall website, so this is not a serious game at all. It's a very gonzo. I think it's really designed for a one-shot essence of SLA, but we'll get into that. But so what you get in the book, so you get this 120-page book as well. You get this bus pass mission. So this is for the Games Master to do handouts if you're going to be playing it face-to-face, or even, you are going to use it on any sort of VTT. And then you get the character sheets here for the characters, which, because it's a Mork Borg type thing, very, very simple. There's not a lot really going on here. So let's just get into the book itself. Front cover, absolutely amazing. Okay, one thing we're not going to see, there's no contents. It's an ongoing theme and frustration with me with all of these sort of Mork Borg type games that the layouts can be random, let's say. This one actually isn't badly laid out. It does lack contents, does lack index pages. What it doesn't have is anything on the inside cover. There's no useful tables, which again is annoyance. I think it's a standard thing with these, because it doesn't come with a Games Master screen. There is one available. I have bought it. I'll maybe do a video on the Games Master screen and the little booklet mission that it comes with at some other stage. But let's just focus on the main role-playing book here. So it is written by Dave Alsop and Jared Earl, and then some additional writings, I assume, by Ben Graybeaton and Mark Rapson. Okay. So inside cover, well, this is actually getting into the main book now. It's got murder, money, mayhem, a game where things happen to other people. So this is talking about the background. So this is not SLA Industries for Mork Borg. It really is more of a Gonzo style, tongue-in-cheek. The players aren't exact. Well, SLA Industries, I probably have to cover a little bit of it if you've never played it. So the world, the known world, and most of the planets are owned by this massive corporation. The players are all employees of the corporation, be it alien races, humans, wherever it may be, and they are sent out on missions to do things that SLA Industries want them to do. And through doing more missions, they will gain more reward, prestige. They get to get bigger apartments, better equipment, get bigger missions, get to go off planet, things like that. Then ultimately they might decide that SLA are the bad guys and try to work against SLA. So that's the essence. So you've still got the SLA Industries undertone in here. But one of the most important things is the player characters do not work for SLA Industries. They just believe that they do, mainly because the player characters aren't not necessarily all there, is the kind of the way. And it just says, this is a very fun Mork Borg-esque SLA Industries, very much tongue-in-cheek. If your players are going to want a really serious sort of mission, gritty, I think you could convert this quite easily into SLA Industries, but the game doesn't want you to do that, and you probably shouldn't. Well, you can if you want, but it's not designed that way. This is, again, just covering more of the background of SLA Industries and where the players live on Mort, and which is the main headquarters of the planet. It's on the for SLA Industries on the planet, and Mort City is the main city. So this is just covering the background of the players, and it then says here, you ain't doing any of that shit, you're idiots. Because the players believe that they are all part of it. Here's the rest of the world if you need to see it. You don't really need to see it for this book, because I don't think the players are going to live that long to really interact with the rest of the world. Get this nice cross-section of Mort City. Here, so we've got SLA Industries headquarters at the top here. Suburbia is where the pretend rich live. You are in here, which is the inner downtown, which is quite bad. Lower downtown gets worse. The deep construct, then everything outside the cities, like the cannibal sector, is not a nice place to go. There is a designated book on the cannibal sector for first edition, which is good. So hopefully second edition, they will revive this. Okay. We're then talking to Doom Fleur. So this is the area of downtown where the players' characters are going to live. Okay, it's just detailing a little bit about the history of the area. So it's just to give the games master an idea of really the world itself. You're going to have to do a little bit of work as a games master, because there's not a huge amount of... I'm okay. I understand SLA Industries. I've been playing it for 32 years now, on and off. So I've got an idea. But I love this bit. So what is an operative? An operative. And it talks about their scary helmet, decent guns, fancy armor, and logos, etc. And then, this is SLA operative Joe Fade. And at the bottom, you are not Joe Fade. Because these are not proper operatives. And SLA Industries will give out blueprint news. Again, these are missions that the players will have to run as a games master. This is how you basically run SLA Industries. So, you go from one mission to the next. A little bit of filler in between the missions and downtime and things. But it is a heavy militaristic type of game, if that's a real word. It is now. But in this, they get a bus pass mission as opposed to a blueprint mission, because they get their missions from a cat. Again, you just got to go with some of this and have a little bit of fun with it. It's all designed just to be a fun sort of mission. So here we go. So Mr. Slayer is the person that gives out the missions in SLA Industries. Here we've got Mr. Slayer, which is a cat. And then there's a variety of D12 roll here for things. What is the cat doing when they turn up? Okay, and a bit of background into the cat. It doesn't have stats. They are redacted. Now that remains players. You cannot kill this thing. Okay, there's no stats. You can't kill it. Don't try and kill it. Should I say that players should get out at this point? No, I think we're all right. Yeah, probably. Now, we're probably at the point where if you're a player, this is the time to stop the video, hand this on to your games master if you want to run it. If you're a player and you've never ran a Mork Borg type thing and you want to run something, just keep watching. If you don't think the games master is going to go with it, because if you're going to start as a games master, Mork Borg, Pirate Borg, Cyborg, any of those, SLA Borg, whatever it may be, it's a very good place to start because the rules in this book about 6 or 7 pages, and rules is always the hardest thing to learn. So my recommendation, pick up a Borg type game, because even, you know, I talk about things like Shadow Dark quite a lot. Shadow Dark's got a lot more rules than this, and this is why it's a good place to start. So here we go. This is the boss giving out the missions to the players. Then we talk about the cribs where the cat lives, which is in this so Halquist bus terminal. And there's a few random things that will go on at the bus terminal when the players turn up. For example, a lost civilian looking very out of place, perfect for mugging, if you like that sort of thing. So it's just going to add a little bit of flavour and ideas of what players can do. Kebabs are healing potions in this game. They are quite cheap, and 1 unit of kebab will restore all of the hit points to the characters. Alcohol does it as well. So but we'll come on to that as we go further through. So the players here, they are loose. So their gang, they call themselves the Broken Biscuits. So each player picks their biscuit, and this is I was kind of a little bit annoyed about this part as we went through the book, but because I was like, I don't want to pick a random character. Really, I want to create my own, but you can actually create your own, so that's absolutely fine. It's later on in the book. But so what we've got now is 6 different operatives the players can play. They've got their own stats here, a little bit of a background. This is their level, so it's sort of the credit rating, your nickname in here, and the species that you are. So there's some incredibly good alien races in SLA. So, and here we got, so Diglett here, who's a robot type machine. Then we've got a rat here called Toothy Grin. So there's only 5 attributes which we'll get onto as we get into the game section on how to play it. The incredibly cool Shakhtar. These are sort of like 7 foot giant muscly alien races with massive red dreadlocks. We've got an Ebon, sort of mental power type character. Mudflaps, who's the frother. They like to take drugs to make themselves a little bit more powerful in combat. Johnny Fancy Pants. I keep wanting to say Johnny Farty Pants because of Viz, wasn't it? The Viz cartoon. The comic book. If you're of a certain age, you know what I'm on about. If you're of a certain age, you haven't got a clue what I'm on about. There is a Neo Bird, and then we've got Clicks and Kenny, which is a human. I think actually that might have been 8, not 6. That was indeed 8, so bad counting on my behalf. We're then going to look at the Knuckle Gear origin chart. So this is the background of your characters. So you'll get the players to just randomly roll this, and it'll just give you an idea of the background of the character, so from a walking disaster to a mook or a missing person, and then a kind of specialization that the players will get. Don't worry, it's a lot more looser than that. Once we get to the end, you can actually create a character from start. It's quite nice now, knowing that, once I got to the end of the book, that the player characters can kind of completely start, because all those pre-gens have all the stats in there, which was kind of annoying. The pub, Happy Hour Pub, is the only place where the players' characters can drink, because it's the only place they haven't been banned from. And we've got a variety of drinks here, which is quite cool. Breakdown of the drinks, for example, Dave Beer, and it would gives you an idea of what the beer is, and also restores a certain amount of hit points, and different ones will do different restoration effects in there. We've got Aha here, which is a chocolate bar, which gives them, so it's 1 in 6 sort of random effects, and they could end up, if they're lucky enough to roll a 1, become impervious to damage. Flash Flood, it's kind of like hallucination drugs, and there's 4 different effects in there. More details about the kebab that we spoke about, and the prices, and you can see here, every uni spent on mics allows a biscuit to heal full hit points. So if you can get to the kebabs, you're fine. We've then got Kaplunket, who is a old, crazy 64-year-old homeless guy that's around about the bus shelter that will be doing some random things and can give missions and mission briefings as well in here. So then talk about mission briefings. We've got the Mork City Transfer Authorization. So this section is your mission section. It's going to give the player characters variety of missions. The type of missions they're going to do is broken down by the colour of the mission. Doesn't really make sense for anything because, well, your colours for chaos. The players think they are, because they may or may not quite all be there. So we're just going to go through a variety of different. I'm not going to go through exactly what the missions are, but the mission breakdown cards here. So the bus pass mission, it will say who's given it in, who's involved, the stuff that needs to happen in the mission, and then any sort of rewards or level that the players need to be, which is this SCL down in the bottom right hand corner. So, and I think there's about 8 or 9 of the main missions, and then there's a couple of little sort of missions and random rolls coming up. So it's quite nice. It includes missions just from outset for the players, as well as some other random things that can happen going to and from the mission. So it just gives the players, I think it's a D10, wasn't it? Yeah, a D10 random things that can happen. Obviously, because this is really, it feels to me very much sort of one shot. You've got nothing to do for an evening, one player hasn't turned up. It's pretty much like the Borg things. I don't think you're going to ever really get a campaign out of this because it's pretty fast and deadly. We're now into the good shit, which is your weapons, and they are broken down in between light weapons, medium weapons, and heavy weapons. There is a little bit of difference between them, but as a general, all light weapons do a D4, medium do a D6, heavy weapons do a D10, and there might be some other things in there, like for the shotguns that do additional stuff, and sawn-off shotguns. Well, then extra heavy firearms do a D12, and then we're into the meaty things like the complete bastard dagger here, and the bendy swords. Armor, as you expect, with all these Borg games, the armor's pretty much the same. You're either rolling D6, D4, or a D2 and taking that off your wounds. Now, it does feel weird that we're looking at sort of data stuff without knowing the rules. We're also then going to look into the beastry section, and we still haven't got into the rules. We still don't know how the rules work, but there's lots of beasts here with incredible artwork. So here, like this giant warty things with 14 hit points, 10 morale. It's only going to do a D4 damage, but it's going to take a D6 armor, so it's going to be quite difficult to take down. These bacons, sort of war piggy type things, are quite prevalent in SLA. And then we've got the minion dog here, some robots. This what the fuck here, what's up dickhead, is quite cool as well. The exterminator as well. Halloween Jack Dubry. Halloween Jack is a very famous character from SLA, and this is just a little bit of a twist on the serial killer character here. Then we've got the shivers that help sort of around, sort of defend the walls. There's the sort of local law enforcement that probably the players shouldn't annoy too much. They're going to annoy them. And then the rest of the book is systems and how the game's played. So it's the last 20 pages of the book. It's not really 20 pages because it includes character generation as well. So we have got 5 stats: agility, knowledge, presence, strength, and toughness. And if you're going to make a roll, you roll a d20 and you add or subtract the plus or the minus for agility, knowledge, presence, strength, or toughness, depending on the test. So there's no skills in these sort of games. It's just, that's it. You just run it with the 5 stats. And if it's a pretty simple, they're looking to get 10 or above. If it's normal, 12. So most rolls are going to be a 12, but you can go as low as 6 week as a player. You can do it lower if you need to. Probably wouldn't get them to roll if you're going to, or you can go all the way up to 18 for here. If you're going to fight, the initiative is just done on agility, so it's a d6 plus your agility stat. To hit is whether you're doing melee, attacking with range or whatever. So you are doing a strength DC 12, so you roll it, you're trying to get to 12 to hit. There's no sort of armor class in this. If you are doing a single shot, you're going to use your presence. If you use an auto fire, it's agility. If you're going to aim, you can get a -2 to theirs or do some extra damage, but it's going to cost you a whole round. To stop the enemy hitting you, you're going to make a defense against your agility, which is why shooting single shot is on presence and auto fires on agility. So you do an agility 12 and you're looking to dodge. Okay, so the games master can roll that. I always like my players rolling their dodge. So I'll just scroll back to a character actually, so you can kind of see here. So if you look at it, 10 hit points, morale 7, so that's when it's down to half hit points, or if there's half of them might run away. Danger value D3. So what you're doing is rolling agility. The player needs to get 12 or more, or they're going to take a D3 damage, or a D4 with auto fire. So that's why the characters, the NPCs, have got very few stats. I've got things about fumbles and criticals on a natural 20 and a 1, and some examples of misfire and things that's in there. Armor, nice and easy. Some armor does make it more difficult to do things like do a normal agility test, so that's going to affect your shooting or dodging or getting out of the way. And when you take damage, you just take the damage. There is no, if you've got no armor, you take a d4, you take a d4 damage. With this, you can soak. So with the light armor, for example, you roll a minus d2, so you roll a d whatever it's going to be, like d4, or flip a coin. And let's say you take 4 damage off the d4, and you roll 2 on this, so you're only going to take 2 damage. Hits always hurt, so you're always going to take a minimum of 1 damage regardless of armor. Damage and healing, okay, so it's got this weird rule here. So at 0 hit points, if you're knocked over, and there's a chance for no hard feelings. So whoever's been knocked over says to the game's master or other player, if you're doing player versus player, mates. And if they say mates, you will recover in a d4 rounds to come back to 1 hit point. If they don't say mates, you're going to die. Well, you're going to become battered, and then there's a chance you're going to die. So you will then make a roll on the battered table, which will determine what will happen, and then the location. So we've got random hit location rolls as well, where the battered effects are going to take place. Obviously, if you do take your kebab on mics, you're going to bounce back up to other hit points there. So when we talk about healing, we've got you can sit down and wait, and after the fight you take a d3 hit points back. Having a pint, you get a d6. And there was other alcoholic beverages when we looked at the pub as well, or drinking something fancy here in the pub. Balance in the game, no. So there is no balance to the game. If the players, it looks like they're going to run into something that they shouldn't do, it's up to the players to work that out and run away. If they die, yeah, maybe you just create new characters. Then talks about adventures in here. So usually come in the form of the bus pass missions, but occasionally you can do other things, so you can send them out into the Cannibal Sector 1 to go and see the whole world and stuff. So there's the stuff in there. If you are going to do side adventures, you're probably going to want to pick up a copy of 1st or 2nd edition SLA just to get an idea of the world. But it's a dark, gritty world. You've seen a lot of it in the world. It's very much the inner city feels like a Judge Dredd type sort of feeling, and outside in the world is kind of like Mad Max. So with a bit of imagination, or if you've watched or read any of those, I think you're going to be fine to stick with this and not necessarily do a lot of additional reading. Long-running campaigns. There isn't really any long-running campaigns with Mork Borg or those sort of things. And then we just get character creation. So if you don't want to go with the 8 pre-generated characters with the stats, details here, how to roll your stats, what you do, and then it'll give you your species, whether from roll a d6, whether you're going to be a human, potentially human, biologically human, an alien, an actual alien, or possibly an alien. And then we've got some random tables here, which is the final inside back cover of the book, which covers sort of pub, just random names for people in pubs, and you're going to encounter where you meet them, the reaction roll to whether they like you, and things like that. So that's it. That's all you're going to get. I'd say all you're going to get. That's quite a lot for 120 pages in a book. I can see this being a little bit divisive, to be honest, because I was expecting SLA Industries, Mork Borg. And I was like, great, this is a really wonderful idea here, because SLA Industries is probably one of the more unknown, really good role-playing books that have been around for a very long time, that probably deserves more credit, more accolades. And here's a chance for the players, for player characters and games masters to discover a nice, easy, rules-like way of playing it. And it kind of doesn't do that. Well, it does do that, but it doesn't do it as a SLA Industries. And I really like it. I think, say, now I know what it is. I was annoyed when I picked it up because it wasn't what I wanted to play, but I love what they've done, because when you think about Mork Borg type games, they're not really designed to be serious. They are serious, but because it's deadly, you don't tend to involve yourself into full-on campaigns with it, which you would do with the SLA Industries type thing. And I really like the fact I can pull this out at any stage. So we've got 9 adventures in there that we can just go with. There's lots of other hooks and things you can do. We've got 8 pre-generated characters that the players can just go with. Backgrounds and stuff and specialities are going to be really quick. Replayability, though, might suffer because there was only, I think it was 12 different backgrounds, 12 different specialities. Hopefully, guys, write some more, because I want to see more for this. The artwork throughout, utterly amazing. It's probably one of the most beautiful books I've ever looked at. But again, that people might like or dislike the art and the art style. It's not for kids, this one. You know, there's lots of swear words in the book. The theme itself is pretty gross, because you are just going out murdering stuff because a cat says so. That's it. That is SLA Borg in a nutshell. I like it. I do like it. It's not what I expected, and I think possibly that's a good thing, because say SLA Industries is, I think it deserves more praise, but it is one of those games that people just don't seem to enjoy. It's not a happy world. This one, it's not a happy world, but you can make it really fun. That's it. So if you've enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe to the channel. If you're going to pick up a copy, get your hard copies direct from Nightfall Games. Links will be in the description. If you want to pick up a PDF copy, please do consider using my affiliate link, because I can just, like I said before, I can just put the money back into the channel to buy more things to do reviews like this. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching.